Hello, and welcome to the Stop Questioning Everything podcast, where we talk about art and subversion, science and skepticism, and community. This is the official Drug Receipts podcast. My name is Arlo Eisenberg. I'm the creator and founder of Drug Receipts, and I'll be your host for this episode and for all episodes, more or less. Today is April 7th, 2022, at least here in America. In other parts of the world where our producers are in New Zealand, it's already April 8th. Today, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot coming up in the next 30 days. We're going to talk about the gallery shows that we're doing with Tyler Shields. In fact, Tyler is here. He's going to talk to us about that. Very exciting stuff. We're going to talk about Blading Cup. We've also got John Julio as a very special featured guest on this episode. And we're going to talk about drug wars. We'll talk about latest news items. We're going to bring on Jesse to go over our latest news items. And we're also going to do some skeptic talk. That is something that we've been neglecting the last couple of episodes. We've just had so much content, so many news items, but it is an important pillar, an important part of this project. So we are going to make time for some skeptic talk at the end of the episode today. So please stick around for that. If you're listening on an audio podcast, just be advised that there will be some images and videos throughout. We will do our best to describe what we're looking at, but we encourage you when you get a chance to subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch the broadcast of the episode to get the full experience. But there will be plenty of good content to listen to, so we hope that we will make it worth your time. So with all of that said, let's not wasting time. Let's bring up our first guest, Tyler Shields. Oh man, Tyler, you know what? You have a card. Joanne, let's bring up the Tyler Shields title card if you have it.
Oh yeah, what is that?
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's give him his full money's worth here. Do we have that? I guess I got to look at the chat.
Apparently not. But I see Selena Lloyd has my the drug receipts piece I have as her avatar. So
that's awesome. Man, yes, she's really kissing up to the guest. So if Joellen doesn't have that, I wonder what else she doesn't have. Dawn, will you make sure that Joellen has the full folder from that we set up for this episode? Because I've also got we've got 4 different categories of images that we have to get through, 001 through 004. I want to make sure she has all of those because the last item is for our skeptic talk at the end. And there's also 2 new title cards. I want to make sure that she has the 2 title cards. So Tyler will forgive us, right? He comes on the podcast enough, but it would be unforgivable if we got to John Julio and he did not get to see his name in lights.
That's right.
So he's only in it for the glory. So let's make sure that we pay him off with a beautiful title card. And Tyler,
these comments are amazing. And yes, I want a good title card. But I see John Nicely's in here. Sean just gave me a big shout out. So hello to everyone in the comments.
Good. And thank you, Selena, for using the PFP.
And whoever blew it on my title card, I want a public apology.
You know what? That's on me. The buck stops here. That's on me. So Tyler, we will get that rectified. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
But thank you for making time to come in here and chat with us. I know that you're super busy. You and I, like even just trying to get on the phone together, the past like 72 hours has been so difficult, like constant missing each other. Yeah. But tell me a little bit about what you've been working on. I know there's exciting stuff.
I am in the middle of a project that I've been working on for about 10 or 11 months, which I've been shooting on IMAX and 35, all these crazy formats. And so I just screened it at IMAX the other day.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of I'll tell you, the first time I saw a large print, I mean, a giant print, it was the same experience as seeing this on an IMAX screen.
Really?
It was maybe even crazier because at this point, I didn't think I could be surprised by something. So we did that. And now we're working on a couple days where we're going to shoot about 15 more sequences. And so we're wrangling about $20 million worth of cars and chase scenes and all this crazy stuff for it. So we're going to shoot some more IMAX.
So that's for the project you're working on. It's going to have like car chase scenes and stuff in it.
We've got helicopters
Oh,
chasing.
wow.
Oh no, it's a full on. It's a big production.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because, when I've spent a lot of time staying at your place recently, just because we've had so many, or I had so much time in California recently.
Right.
Um, but, sometimes I'll get to catch a little bit of what you're editing on the screen and stuff. And a lot of
Yeah.
what I've seen is interviews, right? It's the actors
Yes.
doing their part. And so when you
Yeah.
say, I'm imagining you watching just giant actors' heads like on the IMAX
Ah.
screen, right?
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's more to it than that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I can't share anything on
Yeah.
here, but do you have your phone on you, Arlo?
Are you going to send me something? Yeah.
I'm gonna send you this is just a picture of the IMAX screen.
Oh man, no secret. If you can't say it in front of the whole class, no, but definitely send it. I want to see it.
I sent it to you. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else. But so yeah, I've been working on that, and then obviously,
Sorry,
the cat ran.
it scared her. Oh
Look
wow,
at that.
yeah.
So that's
Dang it.
that's just one of the things.
So that's actually on the screen. That's amazing. So
Yep.
talk to me about this a little bit, because you likened it to the first time you saw a large format print. But
Yeah.
when you saw your stuff up on the IMAX theater screen, it wasn't just that it was large and on the screen. You're actually shooting on IMAX film, right? So it's actually large
Yeah.
format film.
Yes. It was. I think I'm still processing it because it was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
You get used to editing on a monitor, you get used to seeing things on a monitor, and then all of a sudden you're seeing everything on this giant, it's one of the best theaters in the world, if not the best theater in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was absolutely insane.
So I don't think it's giving away too much, but most of us are familiar with your work as a photographer, and you
Yeah.
also do put a lot of video content out there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's giving away too much. But the image that you sent me, it looks like one of your prints. It looks like one of your photographs. Is that
Yes.
kind of the way you're shooting this?
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to use IMAX, is because it shoots on a 65 millimeter negative that's about this big, which is similar to some of the film cameras I use. And so again, we all hear, oh, IMAX, and it's the camera Christopher Nolan uses, and it's amazing and whatever. But shooting something and then seeing it and literally watching it be, like you said, a picture. Like, it looks like a picture that I've taken moving.
It's so cool.
Crazy. But yeah.
So these guys are wrangling behind the scenes, trying to find this title card for Jon. And I know where it is. So do I stop down everything to try and find it here?
Jon will be okay without the title card. We got people. We got people waiting. If I've got I just want to know if Tyler's up for Jesse's on the Sotheby's. Oh, no, that is not my lips, nor is it Jesse's lips, Jon. That is someone else's lips.
But those are the two candidates, I think, either you or Jesse.
Me or Jesse.
I never noticed that much similarity between the two of you guys.
Yeah, thank you. If I don't get a title card, Jon doesn't get a title card. We're going no title cards today.
Oh man. Well, I don't know if Jon will stand for that, but we'll see. All right. So speaking of Sotheby's, Tyler, we have a couple of gallery shows coming up. The first one is Samuel Lynn Galleries, here in Dallas. So you're going to be coming to Dallas this month, which is exciting.
I think we should focus everything on that. We could talk a little bit about the other one, but there's so much to unpack about the Samuel Lynn that is fascinating.
Exactly. That's the first one on the calendar. That is the one that we're going to focus on. In fact, Joellen, let's go ahead and bring up the invite for the Samuel Lynn Gallery show. Oh, look at that! Did you see it, Tyler?
I saw it like in the blink. There it is.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Introducing Tyler Shields. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh, and look at that.
So there we go. Look at that.
All right. So this is the official flyer from the gallery for Tyler Shields' show coming up here in Dallas. It's at the Samuel Lynn Galleries, and you see on the right there is Apollo. That's the digital gallery that is, has an entire wing of the Samuel Lynn Galleries space that we're going to be at their main gallery on Dragon Street. And you can also see down there the Drug Receipts logo, because we are going to be featured in that digital space. But Joel, let's go ahead and bring up the next slide here, because I want to talk about that piece, Tyler, because
Oh
again,
yeah.
this was, it's so funny being in your space. Like when I spent a time with you in California, but just all the stuff that's happening in your world, like all these like crazy things, like you're going to pick up the Ferrari. But talk to me a little bit about what this shoot's about and how you got the Ferrari.
Yeah, so I actually bought this Ferrari. And I bought it, as some people in here may know, some people may not know. I once blew up a Rolls Royce. And so, of course, when you want to destroy something, you have to buy it, right? I can't just say, oh, I'm going to rent this thing and then set it on fire. So I found a Ferrari that was basically, it was made the same year that I was born. And this is like the classic, it's like the iconic from our childhood Ferrari. And I know some people, they go through their like midlife crisis, they want to buy a sports car. And I thought it would be funny if for my birthday I bought a sports car that then I blew up.
Are you saying you're going to blow up that Ferrari?
I'm gonna set it on fire. Yes.
That's really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really insane, but cool,
Yep.
crazy cool.
So
And
because I bought it, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to just buy it and then blow it up. So I want to do some other shots with it, and that's where this photo came from.
And since we're looking at it and it's on the flyer, I'm guessing this is one of the new pieces that's going to be featured at the Samuel Lynn Gallery show.
It might be sold out by the time we get there, which is funny.
So that's amazing. That's really cool. But talk to us a little bit about that, because it's a photo. So how does sold out work? How many prints do you make?
Yeah, so I do a couple of sizes. So I do a couple different sizes, and I do editions of 3. Most photographers, older people, they would do editions of 50, 75, sometimes 100. Newer, younger photographers, I think a lot of them do editions of 25. Some people do 12. Some people do 10. And I think, I started doing 3 15 years ago, and people thought I was insane when I started doing that. They were like, that's just absurd. It's unheard of, whatever. And so now over the years, I think it's really become more kind of normal, especially with the NFT stuff, with the one-of-ones, that the idea is it's, moving to smaller editions.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say with the NFTs. Let's, Joel, bring up the next image, because I want to talk about the NFTs, because you're going to have your beautiful photos up on the walls, but we're also going to have the digital room with these monitors.
Yes.
So this is a photograph of what the Samuel Lynn Gallery room is going to look like. And you can see that there are 6 monitors there. The 2 portrait-oriented monitors on the left and right, flanking the main display in the center. And what we're looking at here is a beautiful presentation of Tyler's art. These are basically NFT or digital versions of some of Tyler's iconic photographs there in the Apollo room. But for the April 22nd show, and that's going to be open to the public from 8 to 9 p.m. Am I saying that right? Yes. From 8 to 9 p.m.
That's correct.
For the April 22nd show, it's going to be drug receipts. So in that room, and on the walls to the left and right, there actually are some framed pieces, just some in real life framed pieces, and those I think will be drug receipts. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but Joellen, let's go ahead and show the next slide here. So this is just a mock-up, and these are just random NFTs that I actually grabbed from the developers when we were testing out the different orientations. But this is something that we've talked about quite a bit, that it's going to be one of the first things that's available in the drugstore is your download packages. You're going to be able to download a portrait version of your PFP, just like you see on the left and right. You can see that the background is extended, so you can display them in a portrait vertical format. Also, the red, wine, and the yellow PFPs in the center presentation, the walking Rex and the tabby wearing the beret. But those are both in landscape format. You can see that the background is extended to the left and to the right. So we are providing all of these formats too. And then the one there on the left is your standard, square 2160. Is that what it is? By 2160? The same way that it's presented as the NFT on OpenSea. And there are a couple of other versions that will come with your downloadable package. You'll also get a transparent PNG, which I think Acrothetics has been providing for you all in the meantime, if you're in our Discord. And you'll also get a giant, basically, if you take the portrait version and the landscape version with the extended backgrounds, you also get a square version of that where you have an extended background all the way around. And that is basically, you're limited only by your imagination, because we are going to provide you the assets to kind of let your creativity run wild with these. But while we're looking at this Apollo room here, so the way that the monitors work, basically it's not going to be just one image up for the entire evening. Each one of those monitors is going to be playing a video loop, in essence. So the PFPs, the NFTs will be changing out periodically on each of the monitors. And that configuration in the center that has the 4 monitors on it, it can switch up between being 2 squares, left and right. It can be 4 individual landscape NFTs showing, or it can be one giant full screen takeover. And in addition to having your beautiful NFTs in this space, we're also going to be showing, our promo video, the beautiful promo video that Tyler Shields shot that talks about drug receipts. And we'll have, some logo animations. So it's going to be a really dynamic and gorgeous drug receipts experience there in the Apollo room. And I think we're also going to we'll probably maybe have some framed, actually thermal receipts in the room. And this is a really exciting part that I want to get to. And I hope that this is okay. I think it is. Joellen, let's bring Tyler and I back up, because I want to talk about this for a second. But and Tyler, how cool is that room going to be, right?
I mean, I was just grinning for like 3 minutes straight looking at it. Because I've been in that room many times, so I know what it's actually going to look like. Like, that picture doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. And again, those NFTs that I put in there were completely random. The ones that we have curated for the show are going to, at least half of them, I think, are going to have Tyler's traits. We've got some Catwoman masks. We've got some ruby slippers. And then we've just got a few other, what we think are really representative, really cool versions of Cap and Rex and Tabby. And Siren, since all the Tyler Shields traits are going to be Tabby. So there's going to be a lot of Tabby in the show. And then we're also making sure that we get Siren, Rex, and Cap in there. So just a word about the curated collection. We have already reached out to a couple of you, or a few of you, because we need prints to frame for in the gallery. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that we were planning to do that with your prints. But for the rest of you, we will be sending out your confirmation letters, here in the next few days. Really, honestly, all we're trying to do is I'm trying to get the consignment letter put together and get that from the gallery, so that when we send out your confirmation letter, we can also basically send out your consignment contract, and also give you guys the details on how the wallet's going to work for holding your NFT pieces. But we've seen the 12 pieces that we put together based on all of your submissions. We got a lot of really, really good submissions. It was hard to narrow it down to 12, but we've tried to show a range that includes a lot of different traits, a range that shows different Ethereum prices, right? We want to give people different points of entry into the collection, and also sort of different aesthetics, some that have a lot of traits, some that are more streamlined. But the collection altogether looks really, really cool. And I can't wait to see it in that room. And we're going to figure out a way to live stream so that we can show you guys the room in real time. But we're also going to film so that we can put together some nice edits coming out of the event. So we'll get a lot of content from that. It's going to be great. But let's talk about the prints in there, Tyler. So the idea is for each of the 12 people, and that's the number we've selected. There's going to be 12 NFTs in the collection. For each of the 12 people, or for each of the 12 NFTs, just in case some of you get just in case someone got more than one. But for each of the 12 NFTs, we are making 2 high quality, museum quality archival prints at the exact same lab that Tyler uses to print all of his stuff. So the best quality that you can find anywhere in the world. Believe me, and if anyone knows, it's Tyler, right? If he trusts it for his own prints, then you better believe that you're getting quality stuff. But so we're going to make 2 prints of each one of you that have been selected to be in the show. These are 30 inch by 30 inch, one of Tyler's conventional sizes, a beautiful size for your square NFT. So we're having these printed at Tyler's lab. Tyler and I are each going to sign them, and we're going to give one to the seller. So if you get your NFT in the show, oh yeah, look at that. So you know what, Joellen, let's go ahead and bring up what Tyler's shown us. So, yep. Oh, you've got Jamie's. Whoa. So that might be some alpha there. Or Jamie, surprise, congratulations. Let's look at
I text you. Yeah, I text you a couple more things because I just got them.
Okay,
But
yeah,
look
because
at
you
that.
sent me through them.
By the way, I just want to preface this. This is a photograph of the print. This is not photoshopped. It's not doctored. This is literally how crazy. Because when I showed it to Allie, she goes, "Well, that's cool. What's the actual print going to look like?" And I go, "No, that is the actual print."
Yeah.
So just to preface.
And how was it, Tyler? I mean, I've only seen the photo of it. What was it like to see it in real life at the lab?
Again, it doesn't. The photo does not do it justice. And I just sent you a little two videos of it, of them, and it's just. I mean, they look so incredible in person. Like they are just beautiful.
I wish I could send that to Dawn. Yeah, it's so cool.
Look at that.
And that's 30 inches by 30 inches. And these things, so we're framing 2 of them, right? We're going to have one of the cat mask hanging on the wall.
Yes.
And we're going to have one of the ruby slippers hanging on the wall, just to give an idea of what these things could look like framed. But in that room, they're going to be framed prints, but there's also going to be basically framed monitors showing the NFTs. So it's just a lot of different ways to display your art. So I was saying that we are making 2 prints of each one. So one print is going to go to the seller. That is, our thank you to each of you. Well, on the one hand, it's a reward. It's like saying congratulations. You've made it into the show. But it's also our way of saying thank you for trusting us with your NFT while we sell it, or while we try to sell it and include it in the show. It's going to be a really stunning piece for you to have. So one of the prints is going to go to the seller, and one print will go to the buyer. Whoever buys the NFT will get a signed print in addition to getting the NFT. So it's a really, really, really cool approach to marrying the 2 worlds between the fine art, the sort of the legacy fine art gallery space, and also the cutting edge NFT collectibles space.
Arlo, I just sent them through to Don, so I think he may have them in a second.
Are you on WhatsApp with Don too?
Of course, Don and I talk on WhatsApp all the time.
You.
But Arlo, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, he says he put it on Discord.
Okay.
So my question is, today when I was at the lab, one of the guys who works at the lab bought a drug receipts. Okay.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, of course. So he saw the prints because he's one of my printmakers, right?
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh my God, he's like freaking out, right?" And he said to me, "Can I buy a print of my drug receipts?" And I said, "I don't know, but I'll find out." So
what is he asking?
What he wants to know.
Yeah.
John nicely said, yes, he did post them on Discord. He posted the things that Don just posted on Discord. What he wanted to know is, could he buy a physical print of the NFT that he owns?
Yeah. So this is interesting.
I said, I don't know. And I don't know if anyone else would be interested in that, but maybe they would.
So it's a good question. And it's one of the really innovative and trailblazing aspects of NFTs. and what makes this so unique in the space of art collecting. So when he owns the NFT, now that he owns that NFT, he owns the rights to it. He can do whatever he wants with it. It's his print shop. He has the NFT. He has the power. He can print as many of them as he wants. He can sell them. He can't put drug receipts, a drug receipts logo on it, but he can call it, Johnny Printmaker's, cat mask. But yeah, he absolutely, he doesn't have to buy it from us. All he has to do is print it and hang it.
The difference is, what I think is, it's very different from going and printing it at Kinko's and there's no quality control, right? And so I think more the question is like, like John nicely just said, I'll speak for everybody. Yes, I would buy. He was like, I would love to buy a print of mine. So I'm not saying that we need to be like, it's $10,000 for a print or whatever. But I'm saying if there are certain people that want to buy the physical print at the quality to which we're doing, because they're not cheap prints, right? Like they cost a little bit of money. So could they get it from us, or would we just direct somebody just to do it on their own?
So what he would do is he would make that offer to the community, right? He would get it out there to drug snugglers, to the drug receipts community. If you love this print that you saw on the Samuel Lynn Gallery show, and you want your own high quality version of your own NFT, I'm the guy that can do it. I can give you the exact same quality that Tyler Shields is getting. And that's between him and all the drug snugglers, all the NFT holders. Yep.
Got it. Great.
They don't need us, because once they buy their NFT, it's their NFT.
Then it's there. Okay, done. Got it.
Unless they want us to sign it, and then we can give them our signing fee.
Right. Yeah.
There is no signing fee. Just go up to one of our events, and we'll happily sign it for you.
Yeah. It was just interesting because I didn't know the answer. You know what I mean? Like I know the rights and everything and whatever. But yeah, it's printing is it's like speaking a different language. Talking to printers and understanding it is a different language.
Well, and it's such a great line of discussion, Tyler. But what's true of printing is true of everything else. So if there's someone who wants to make you, it's like acrothetics, what he's doing, right? If he can make you a transparent PNG, or he can Photoshop, your NFT into some background. It's like there are people who can start to add value to the community by adding services to the people that are holding NFTs for things that they want to do with them. Maybe someone will put it on a hoodie, or someone, right? Just all different things.
So then what I could do potentially, and I can't answer this now, so if anybody starts asking a bunch of questions, I can't answer this now, but what I could potentially do is I could get some sort of an email at the lab where anybody that wants a good print, they can email the lab, and the lab can give them a standard spec that I have spec'd out for them at the quality that, they want it to be at.
Yes, and you can give that info to Jesse, and we can pin it
Discord
in Discord, so if people can find it. We can send it out in a newsletter. Yeah, we can pump it out to all of our channels, and people will love that info. So
I can get the lab to make a specific email that's just for drug receipts. Like it would be, drug receipts or blah, 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 at, whatever. Yep. And then that way, all you'd have to do is email and say, I want the Tyler print or the print style. And then you're going to get the best quality.
Give me the TS treatment. Yep.
That's it. Yep. Great. By the way, perfect. I think that is fascinating. And I think that's great. Like that's great information for people to have. And if it's set up easily, look, the lab ships worldwide. So you can literally be anywhere in the world. They can make you the print. They can ship it to you. And then you just have to pay for, just pay for the cost of the print.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's such a great idea. And I'm so stoked that your printer has a drug receipt that he's excited about. That's so awesome.
Oh yeah. When I came in, he goes, look at mine. I was like,
I want to see it. I want to see what he got. Next time I'm in town, which actually will be very soon, you got to take me by the lab. I want to say hi to him and see what he got.
Yep.
But speaking of saying hi, Joellen, let's go ahead. If John's available, let's go ahead and bring him
in.
I want to get him in before Tyler goes, and I don't want him to be sitting back there in the wings too long. So let's bring up our next special guest, John Julio. Title card. Oh no! What? Oh,
No title card. It's all even here. This is not a.
Oh,
this is
yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. Wow.
Okay.
Look at that. Production value.
There we go.
So we have the title card, but we don't have John.
I'm trying to figure out how to turn it on.
Oh my God.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
There he is.
There
Awesome.
he is. Okay, quickly.
Wow.
I've got an extra few minutes, but I am literally about to pee my pants, so I'll be right back. So sorry.
Okay, we'll hold it down while you're
Thank you.
taking care of your business.
Good to
So
see
John,
you,
you're
Tyler.
definitely winning the background
Oh wait.
competition here. That's really cool.
Say that one more time, Marlo.
You're winning the background competition. That backdrop that you have looks really cool.
Thank you. It's our blinds for our separates the shop from the warehouse.
Well, I know
not
where
the
you
shop
are
right now.
because I've been there. But yeah, let's show them. There's the them shop. Very cool.
We just closed, so good timing.
Oh, good. We've caught you at a good time. Well, sorry for making you wait, but hopefully that gave you time to wrap up stuff there at the shop. So John, for anyone who doesn't know, all rollerbladers obviously know who you are, but our audience goes beyond rollerblading. And so there are some people who will appreciate a little bit of background on you. And I'll just give it a start. I mean, I've known you for a long time, but you are, you've always been a good skater, and you've always been a creative and influential skater. My earliest memories of you, right, are skating in camo pants and wearing glasses with no lenses in them. I mean, all stuff which might sound kind of trivial now, but back then it's like, you made an impression, like you were doing things that were different. And you
Style icon. But even like I think in the same section, what am I talking about? Like VG4 or something? You would skate when you were doing lines, you would do tricks in between tricks, like when you were skating from one spot to another. And that in itself was kind of revolutionary. But so you've always been kind of someone who thinks and adds to the sport. And so now multiply that times, Valo, them, your shop. I mean, there are just so many projects that you've had your hands on. The blading cup.
The blading cup, yeah. We're going to get into all that. But there's no question that you are the hardest working person in rollerblading. And I think that the general consensus is you are like the president of rollerblading, right? You are like the face of rollerblading, you're the ambassador. Yeah, so I can't say enough about John. I can't say I can't express in words how much I appreciate you. But I'm only saying all this to kind of hopefully give everyone else who's not a rollerblader an idea of how important you are and kind of the contributions that you've made to rollerblading. So welcome to Drug Race Seats.
Oh, wow, what an intro. Coming from my idol from
There you go.
beginning
Well,
days. So it's really nice to hear. No, yeah. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate the invite and time, and I'm excited for what we've been working on. And
but by the way, quick question before we get into all of that, John, now that I have you recorded on this beautiful platform, and this will live forever, what are we going to do about somebody grinding or jumping over my Ferrari?
Oh wow.
Because I want somebody to do it, and I see Randy Spizer. Maybe Randy will do it. I don't know. Somebody's got to jump over this Ferrari.
Randy will misty over your Ferrari for sure.
I'm sure Chris Edwards will be there. He would love to front flip it.
Wow.
I'm sure you can find someone easily. Are you sure you want someone to do that?
Yes, John, I'm being dead serious. I didn't grow up and do so well and all this to be able to buy a Ferrari so that no one could jump over it on rollerblades. I'm just not going to jump over it on rollerblades.
This is amazing.
I have a pair of rollerblades. I have a pair of rollerblades right there.
Prove it.
But
oh yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
But John,
let's go skating, Tyler.
John, I've said it to you multiple times, and I don't think you think I'm serious, but I want someone to jump over this Ferrari on rollerblades.
How about you jump over your Ferrari? You should jump over it.
I know, but I don't. I've
So
got too much
so
to
the
do.
who, guys, let's stay focused, right? The who of the equation is the easiest part to figure out. The real question, John, is there space for it? If Tyler brings in the Ferrari, is there a place to put it? And we can get a launch ramp going up to it, or a kicker ramp so someone can jump over it.
Like, you need a location? I have a location.
It's got to be somewhere it's got to be somewhere near your venue, right? It's got to be part of the event.
Oh, you mean Blading Cup? Oh
no, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be part of the event. I think it should just be a video thing. We'll shoot it.
I thought this was a Blading Cup thing.
No.
Oh,
this
okay.
This
So
is just to have.
Disregard me. I'll just let you guys talk. Forget I said anything.
So
we could definitely organize it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure we can find someone to do it. Yeah.
Well,
you tell me when.
Listen, I mean, okay, I'll figure out the date and then I'll lock it in.
There you go.
John, I'm sorry. I think I did you a disservice because in the glowing introduction that I gave you, I did leave out that you were the commissioner of the Blading Football League, and that's probably your most prestigious title.
Exactly, 100%.
So, yes,
a lot of hard work into that title.
We have a fantasy football league that's comprised of just old school rollerbladers. And John is the commissioner of the league.
He's gone. He's gone now. Randy, I see you're in the chat. Do you think you could Misty flip over a Ferrari?
I have to get it. This is the trophy, the prestigious trophy here.
What a bragger!
Arlo, yeah. Well, I didn't. Who won it this year, Arlo?
John's not going to let you shine. There you go.
Yeah.
Blading Football League. Sick.
There's like a roll. He's got roll. I don't know if he can turn here. He's got rollerblades. Arlo actually added these onto the trophy.
Wow.
Surprised us all. And then there's Dave Payne's autograph on there. He won it 1 year.
For some reason. I won it 2 years. Where's my name?
Yeah, here we go. Where I can't.
No, mine are together.
Oh, that's my name right there. Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Where's those?
We see that. Okay, and then there's Arlo 2 times, and then
there you go. Back to back.
AJ. Hey, there's my name again. Hey, Mike. AJ.
By the way, Randy says he'll buy a 540 over the Ferrari.
Yeah.
There you go. You got to take her.
I'm taking off my earpiece because Siri keeps popping up. I don't know if you guys ever have that problem.
No.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
There you go. That's better.
So what's happening with the Blading Cup?
Kind of knee deep right now. Like there's a lot of everything's kind of coming together right now with logistics. We've had an overwhelming amount of support, which has been really cool. Like from so many newer brands in rollerblading, and this year is the first time, or this Blading Cup is our first ever spring cup. So we did really well in November. The city was really stoked about how well the event was organized, and the people that it drew, the vibe and the overall, the overall vibe that the event projected, and the group of people that came, and it was just overall positive energy. So shortly after November, the November event, the property owner and a couple of city officials contacted me, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about doing another one, like in the same year?" And I was like, "Well, of course." But the problem, maybe you guys were there, the biggest problem I think was the location and the amount of space that we had to facilitate, 1,000 people at a time, throughout the day. It was thousands of people. So I told them I would love to bring it back to the parking lot. In 2012, Arlo was there. He helped me host it on Fox Sports. It was a big production, and at that time the floor was really nice, and we were able to put the ramps out there. But maybe a year or two after that, they redid the floors, but they didn't finish them, and it just it was kind of like a gravel floor. So the whole lot was just gravel, and so we could never do the event there again, because for skating, obviously you don't want to be skating on gravel. So I asked them, I proposed to them, hey, if you guys can like redo the floors for us, and um, we can move it over there and it'd be plenty of space. So they said yes. So I think
Awesome.
next week they're repaving the parking lot floor. Um, so yeah, we're moving it over there, and we have more space for vendors, more space for spectators.
More space
We're
for
gonna
a
have
Ferrari.
maybe. Hey, we know we can take the
Not
street.
Ferrari space.
Maybe if you really want to plan it, but we have a mini ramp contest,
Oh,
which is
cool.
rad. We never
Oh,
had.
So maybe
Yeah, it's like,
Tyler will bring his skates.
I may have to come out of retirement. I
You're
never
speaking his
ever
language now.
I
thanks to
never
Michelle,
lost a
Miguel.
mini ramp contest ever.
Uh-oh,
Oh,
wow.
Here we go.
Strong words right there from Tyler, throwing down the gauntlet.
I am retired, but oh God.
That does sound
24
fun.
foot wide, so it's a pretty good width. I think it's 5.5 is what Miguel was saying. Thanks to Michelle and Miguel at Moxie. They're pretty much sponsoring it all. Like the skate light is off supplying the wood, so it's going to be a nice ramp.
Wow.
And then we have the street course, of course. So that's nothing's changed on that, and it's going to be more of a festival vibe. We have a lot of the quad community there. Like you can tell on bladingcup.com, there's a lot of quad brands, quad podcasts, quad cross branding, helmet brands, and outside brands too, like MK Lighter. Like they're a big contributor. So we have a lot of interesting, not only newer brands, but brands that like I would never expect that would support on such a level, like Impala. Like they're a presenting sponsor as well, and it's just been it's been really interesting in the last 6 months and seeing this kind of organically become something different than it ever has been. So
And Jon,
I
what do
I'm
you
not gonna lie.
attribute-
What's that? What do I attribute that to?
Yeah.
I think it's just a different time. Maybe it's a more inclusive time. It's more maybe during COVID and pre-COVID. Like I personally, as a brand owner, I saw skate sales on a small scale because we were a small company. I saw growth, and talking to the shops that we sell to, they were feeling that too. And then COVID just kind of skyrocketed everything. Obviously, everyone knows that at this point, right? So people went back to skating, or they remembered it, or they were trying to do something that they can do with their families, something they can do by themselves, because that's all you could do. So, and skating is one of those things that you could do. So, I as where we're at, I can only speak from where I'm at, and we just as far as them skates goes, like we got into a lot of really interesting collaborations, and I meeting new people, and they opened their doors to us to like, how do I say, excel in outside just our community. And
Yeah.
one of those being Brain Dead. Um, that's a fashion brand from Hollywood, like streetwear, and they opened their doors to us, and they exposed us into a different, outlet. So anyway, that's one facet of where that opened new doors for us. We quickly got into different medias like Complex Magazine, Hype Beast, and Vogue, and I think that all those things attribute to just it all just kind of snowballed, and it's from my standpoint, them skates and Blading Cup, it's one, hand in hand as far as like marketing and working together. But the quad community, they Michelle and November, like we had maybe like 5 to 10 quad brands, but we had no quad event yet.
Yeah.
But obviously it was going to happen. I can tell from there. So, and now it's like, for the first time, we're going to have like quad events with the blading events, and it's going to intertwine together, as far as like oh yeah, it's also a 4-day event, so it's also a longer event. So then you're going to have this kind of more festival feel, where you're not just going to be like there for a day or two and then go home. It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
It sounds awesome. Tyler, I don't know how much longer we have you, but I do want to share a couple of things with John while you're still here before you go, because we've announced that when on our California trip, when we went out to visit you at the shop, John, that we worked out in principle, right? Presenting sponsorship for drug receipts, but it is official now. As of today, right? We started pumping it on our socials. You guys made the announcement. So Joellen, let's show the Blading Cup sponsor, our presenting sponsorship for Blading Cup, because we're really excited. Oh, what the heck? Who did that? Don't show that again. That was weird. So that was two things. That was two different slides somehow got stacked up on top of each other. So we're just really struggling with the slides.
It was almost gonna say Tyler Julio or John Shields.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's coming next. Yeah. But no, get it off. It's making me crazy. Joel, that's not your fault. That's just on us, on the art. But
thank you.
But
it's huge.
Yeah.
What's that? It's a huge contribution, to sponsor on that level. It increases everything, increases prize purse, increases the value of the event. And it's thank you 100 times. Thank you both. Thank you, Brooke, and whoever's behind drug receipts. So
sure, of course. And it's the least we can do, right? Rollerblading, obviously, Brooke, Tyler, and I are doing this project. We started this project together. We are all rollerbladers. We only know each other because of rollerblading. And rollerblading features prominently in the Drug Receipts project. And it also features prominently in my life and in our lives. So it's only fitting that we would give back to the rollerblading community. And there's no better place to do that than with you and with Blading Cup. And it's not just, we're not just doing it as a charity or to be altruistic. It's also because we think that it is really good visibility. I love what you're doing with the brand. I think that it's right on point for what we're trying to do. So it's a really good partnership there. So thank you, John. And we're really happy to be a part of it.
On behalf of Miguel also and Reina and Michelle now, as far as like organizing this whole thing, it is a lot of work. It's a lot. I mean, everyone else has their full-time work too. And every bit of support that we do get, it helps us, it helps the whole scenario. And it's become a big project now, like a real life of its own. And it's just, anyway, it's just amazing to have this kind of support. And thank you. It's a lot of money too. You guys are sponsoring, so.
And $10 million, not so bad. Not so bad. No. It's amazing. By the way, it is amazing, and like, man, I don't know how many people in the chat have actually been able to make it to the event, but I think I went for the first time. I don't know, maybe like what was it, like 6 years ago or something like that.
Before COVID, right?
But yeah, way before COVID. And it is just such a fun event. It's just, you guys just do such a great job. The whole thing is just awesome from top to bottom. And to hear now that it's getting bigger and you're taking the parking lot back and all of that, it's just, I mean, it's awesome. And I'm so happy to hear all that.
Well, and the idea that it's becoming more like a festival type event, which is definitely where it was headed last year, with all the booths and the vendors and the clubs and the venues, the live venues. It just has that vibe. And so the more you lean into it, because we have a lot of people in our community that aren't rollerbladers, but I'm sure would love to come out to an event like this. And there's a lot to do if you're a spectator or if you just want to, vibe on the experience out there. There's plenty to watch, plenty to do. Downtown Santa Ana is such a perfect host for this thing. Like, so many cool vendors and restaurants and shops there. It's just, it's awesome. So we definitely encourage any of our drug snugglers to come out and hang out with us at the Blading Cup. And we're also putting together an after party for one of the nights out there. So there will be plenty of socializing to do at the Blading Cup. So hopefully you guys will make it out, and we're going to have some merch out there. Joel, let's try one more time. Let's not show the sponsorship, but let's see if we have the image number 3. Hopefully have this. Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay. So here is a kind of an advanced sneak preview of some of the graphic stuff that we're putting together for Blading Cup. But, we're going to have t-shirts, we're going to have stickers, and we're working on another special surprise that we are going to give out to some select few drug snugglers. But here you can see kind of the collaboration between the Blading Cup branding and some drug receipts branding. And how about Cap wearing the them baseball hat? Very, very cool there. Joel, and thank you for bringing that up. So
you went for the goal. I saw.
What's that?
You decided the goal.
No, you don't know. That's a sticker.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You don't know. So that we're definitely going to have shirts and stickers like that. But what you're talking about, John, that is still undecided. And honestly, I think I might be in your camp. But yes. So what John is talking about is we are going to have a trait drop. We've been teasing this all along. There's going to be a trait drop associated with Blading Cup. Basically, we're going to give away them skates to, we haven't announced what the trait is yet, and we are still not announcing it. We're going to reserve that for a little closer to the actual event. John, do you know what a trait drop is?
I have no idea, but
have you set up a wallet yet?
No, not yet.
See, we are trying to give him an NFT. We want to give him a drug receipts NFT, and he refuses to set up a wallet. Do you have something? Do you just hate NFTs? Is that what it is?
What's that? Sorry.
Do you hate NFTs or do you just hate free stuff?
No, I just haven't, processed.
John, call me and I'll help you. I'll walk you through.
I'll call you after this.
John Nicely was just in your store. How did he not set you up with a wallet?
John Nicely is the greatest ambassador for NFTs of any human being on this planet. He has rallied the entire community.
He's crushing it. Yeah. But how do you let this one major figure fall through the cracks? Where is the justice in not having a wallet for John Julio yet? The president of rollerblading.
Are you talking to John Nicely?
You got to rectify that. What, John?
Are you preaching to John Nicely about it, or talking to me about it?
Both.
No, I'm trying to motivate Nicely to get his ass back in the dem shop and get you set up with your wallet.
Nicely, we need you there tomorrow at 8 a.m. when they open.
Oh, you said you weren't there. Okay. Yeah. So you can expect a visit from Nicely.
At this point, it has to happen, right? So,
yep,
it's gonna happen. I'm excited to get one.
So when you have one, kind of what I was getting at is, since you don't even have an NFT, you don't have a wallet yet, there's no chance you even know what a trait drop is, right?
So I would imagine a trait is like a hat or skates, or if you have that NFT.
Yep.
You don't become the mayor of rollerblading.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a real life thing, right?
That's the head at work right there. That's a smart dude. That's why he's the boss. That's why he's the boss of rollerblading. Yeah, that's exactly it. So we have hundreds, of traits in the collection, and
and so only one trait or whatever you pick is the people that have that will receive this.
So we will say, anyone who's got the magic wand, right? If you've got the purple magic wand, which is not something that's actually in our collection, but if you've got the purple magic wand, and maybe there's only 20 of those in the collection, then everybody who's got the purple magic wand, we will, send us your address, we'll confirm your wallet, and we'll send you out this special them skates, drug receipts package, care package that'll have skates and some special goodies, right? Some special merchandise that we're creating just for the event. Which speaking of,
it's amazing, by the way. Yeah.
What's that?
It looks great. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be. It looks really cool. Can't wait to get it out there and to get it into people's hands.
We're running out of time though. I hope there no pressure or no stress, but.
Well, I've got your approval. The artwork's done, so we're sending it out to all our vendors to have it produced. But yeah, so and the skates that we're giving away, really all we need to have is about just a few pairs on hand for the event, like to give away as prizes on. because for all of our trade drops, we actually have to get their sizes. So those will ship after the event. They're not going to ship during the event. But they will be announced before the event. We'll announce what the trade is, and we'll get the wallets locked in.
So you'll have
But so very exciting.
Some kind of show like this, and then you just announce it on social media somewhere.
No, it will very likely be it'll either be a podcast or one of our AMAs or one of our Q&As. Yeah, we'll announce it there. And then we'll pump it out through all of our channels, but we'll make the big announcement like this. And maybe we can bring you on again to help us with the announcement.
Sure.
Okay. So, John, what else do we have for you?
Oh, John, I have a question.
Wait, John, hold on. Look at these guys right here. Are you coming in here?
Nicely just showed up to set up his wallet.
Nicely just rolled up.
He's like, boom, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Like they put up the bat signal, the drug receipt signal, like Batman. Nicely shows
Look
up.
who just showed up.
Oh,
there
Spizer
he
is like
is.
trying to get on TV.
There
And
we
Ortiz.
go.
All right.
Yes.
You guys are still talking about rollerblading, so we figured we'd
Randy,
chat. How you doing? Good, brother. Good to see you.
Everything good?
Yeah. What's up?
That was sick.
do you really think that you could 540 over the Ferrari?
Yeah, I think
Anybody can do that.
Long ways.
Are you doubting
the long ways?
Are you doubting this
So-
man right
so
here? Are you
flat-
serious?
Do I get to go bank to bank, or is it
Yes.
just flat?
Yeah, bank to
Oh,
bank.
bank to bank? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah. Can't doubt the
Fantastic.
Roadhouse.
If you
Come
get
on.
towed in,
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe get a little scooter to launch me, so I don't have to.
No,
like,
I'll
skate
get
it.
another Ferrari to tow you in.
Okay, let's go.
What do you
Bro,
mean?
all you guys have their own little trading card. Let's
oh,
go.
sick.
Wow.
So sick.
Yes. Whoever Acro just said, yeah, I just casually just threw in long ways. But yeah, I imagine it long ways, and I want to shoot it in slow-mo.
Shit.
Okay.
That's a stunt.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
that's sick.
it's-
I mean, a Ferrari is not that long though, right?
yeah.
It's not that long. It's not that
Okay,
bad.
if you can just do me a favor, just let me know how long the car is, and I'll do some practice, things
Yeah,
at the local.
I will.
Because there's a
I'll
nice
measure-
little
I'll
bank
measure
I can.
It's a pretty small car, honestly.
Yeah.
It's very low to the ground.
I could do it. I'll say yes.
I was driving the other day, and my girlfriend was so scared because we were looking up at a Honda Civic. She made me drop her off on the corner because she was
it's so
like,
low
I'm
to
gonna
ground.
walk home. This car is
Whoa,
so scary.
Wow.
Crazy.
Oh, maybe you don't need a ramp.
I thought you were gonna say she jumped over it while you were driving it. But-
She could probably just step over it. It's that low to the ground. So
yeah.
so
makes sense.
So Randy
Yeah, I
Ortiz,
think I got it.
Nicely's not there, but you guys are probably the next best thing. What do we have to do to get an NFT into John's wallet? We've been
Which
trying to
John?
give
This
him a
John?
drug receipt. Huh?
How many
Yeah,
Johns?
to-
You
to
got by
Julio.
three.
Julio.
Nicely.
I mean, I went through the
don't know
thing,
the
but I had to get like these extra steps. I didn't understand.
okay.
So
Yeah, I can help him
Randy's-
set up his wallet.
We'll get
Randy's
him.
gonna help me.
Yeah. We'll get you his wallet.
Yeah,
address.
the Prez has got to have an NFT. You kidding me?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
and
so good.
Once you get set up, yeah, just send us the address.
how many people are competing in the Blading Cup? And is there also the veterans part?
Yeah, it's gonna be an invite this time.
Okay.
The veterans. Miguel's invite.
Okay.
He's gonna. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's also gonna be.
Matt Lindemuth, speaking of veterans, Matt Lindemuth says that you should tow Randy in with Ortiz's ponytail. How sick would that be?
Man, if only I still had like long hair, then we could like avatar in, like
That's right.
far away.
Could fill a truck with this thing. We're good.
Miguel's in there, right? Miguel, who's competing in the Legends
Well,
event?
Tyler's invited, right?
Yeah,
Legend.
Tyler, yeah.
I'm just
Tyler,
be spectating.
These two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't sit
But
with me on the
Tyler's
corner.
only interested in the mini ramp.
Well,
Well,
I
there's
heard
gonna be
there's
both. Yeah, there's gonna be both.
I want to wear a velour jumpsuit and pretend to be Arlo's sports and conditioning coach or Randy's.
yeah. I could use
Okay.
one.
I'm gonna have a whistle and the whole deal.
You know,
makes
John,
sense.
I've known that Miguel and Michelle, obviously they've been a couple for a while, but I never noticed that their names were Miguel and Michelle until I heard you say the names back to back. That's pretty rad. Miguel and
By the
Michelle.
way, Who is Acro? Because how do they know that I was in the bunny suit, and what do you believe in?
He must
Yeah,
be a
that's a good word.
rollerblading historian.
Do you remember that video? Do you guys remember that video?
Yeah, of course.
That was awesome.
Were you? I didn't know you were in.
Right there.
I was one of the bunny. I was the bunny rabbit guy.
No way.
Oh wow,
Dang, I had no idea.
Didn't know that.
that's
you know that?
interesting.
No.
I didn't know that either. Acrothetics
Yeah.
knows everything.
That's right. I'm like,
That's scary.
he or she says I'm an enigma. So
If you watch the end credits, it's in there.
that's
Tyler
right.
Shields in the bunny
That's
suit.
right. It was awesome.
That's crazy.
Amazing.
John, I'm out
Well,
of questions for you.
Right.
We've got Randy and Ortiz, so I'm just sort of letting it hang, letting it roll. What do you guys want to talk about?
Some NFTs, man. NFTs. So I'm happy to hear that we're gonna get John up in this. That's a huge pull.
So we've been having some really cool talks behind the scenes. And in fact, we had an impromptu Zoom call just a couple of days ago because Luis Zamora showed up in the Discord with Randy and Jon Ortiz. And we started getting all these legendary rollerbladers. And then Brooke just spontaneously set up a Zoom call and we got Louis, Randy, John on it. Dominic Sagona joined it.
wow.
Who else was in there?
Martino.
Yeah, Mike Martino was in there.
Wow.
It was really, really cool. But ever since then, we've been sort of communicating more regularly. And I happen to know that John and Randy and Louis are working on something very, very cool. I don't think we're at liberty to discuss it in any detail yet, but watch out for something exciting on the horizon from them.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm going like full speed into this. Like Ortiz got me. He's got me in. He hook, line, and sinker for a fishing pun there for you. Just because he's got me fired up. I'm like pretty stoked on it. So
he's tapped into the R Spizer addictive personality, and now he's got you.
Yes.
Might be playing on that.
So I want to figure out, because for the Blading Cup, I want to do something where maybe it's the veterans or maybe it's the normal contest, but I want to give one of the winners one of my personal drug receipts as a nice little.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
Giveaway. Yeah, but I don't know yet if I
we-
should do veterans or if I should do the normal contest.
Tyler, I don't even know if we have to do that personally. That's something that we should be doing as drug receipts. We should be added an NFT to the prize pool for sure.
Yeah, I just thought it would be a nice little add-on. Maybe somebody wins that doesn't have a wallet like John, and then we onboard them.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was something I thought about.
Chances are it's going to be someone like that, right? Maybe or not.
they're gonna say chances are you're gonna
chances
win.
are better.
That's what
Well,
I was gonna say.
I don't know, like how many. It would be a good thing, right?
Right. Yeah. No, you want to onboard people. John
Yeah,
Nicely
onboard.
would be very supportive of this.
Yeah.
He won't just be right. We're going to give him a job at Blading Cup for sure. In fact,
Okay,
John,
so
do we have a booth?
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna have a booth there, right? And so
Yeah.
we're just gonna we're gonna
I mean,
set
if you
John
don't have
Nicely
to,
up at a table,
yeah.
and he's gonna have a sign
Yeah.
that says "Ask me about NFTs."
Yeah.
Nice. So Arlo, did I just inadvertently get the winner an NFT without even having to give away one of my own? Are we going to give one?
You did, yes. You just passed the burden over to us, but we're happy to do it. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
Nice.
Do I need to know any of
Yeah.
this?
Fantastic.
This is really
Okay.
cool.
I have to go. I'm going to look at a cheetah. So I got to go.
That makes sense.
Man, the life of Tyler Shields, it's always something wild and crazy. That's cool, man.
Yep.
Well, have fun with the cheetah, Tyler. Glad
Thank
you
you.
could join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will, talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
Tyler.
Tyler.
Tyler Shields.
Nice.
There's his title card. That's cool.
We got a title card on the way out too. Wow, that's how we
Yeah,
do it
that's
around here.
Very professional.
Yeah,
Very
John,
impressive.
so
This whole-
Ortiz, Randy, if I knew you guys were coming, we could have made title cards for you also.
It's okay.
Next
Yeah,
time.
that's all right.
We'll
We
get you
kind of
next
just
time.
walked in. Sorry about that.
So, but it is good that you guys are here because the next thing that we want to talk about, we're going to do and I guess, are you guys cool to hang out for a minute? I don't know, John, it's your stream, your camera, so you can jump out whenever you want, but you're welcome to hang around. We're going to talk about drug wars in a little bit and I know John and Randy might be interested in getting in on that conversation. But we're going to do a little bit of news here in just a second with Jesse. You guys want to hang out?
Yep.
Sure.
Yep. All right. Well, Joel, let's get into our routine checkup.
He's popping
All right. So this is the news portion. Here is Jesse. Oh, and John, what do you think of that top that Jesse's wearing?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Dang. Where'd you get that from?
Oh, she's on.
You're
There we go. Hi, hello. I got this as a gift from a darling person in my life who is responsible, and the reason why I'm even in the same chat with you guys, because I knew nothing about rollerblading 2.5 years ago. So, but no, this is awesome. I had to wear the the band T-shirt to the concert just because I really love this collection. I hope we can talk more about it, hopefully. But I just wanted to say while I have this moment that this really, this collaboration with Brain Dead really marked such a turning point in both rollerblading and in streetwear and in culture in general. So thank you for leading that.
That's really cool to hear. I mean, for us, it's a huge turning point for the brand. So shout out to Kyle, I guess, and Brain Dead.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Yeah.
He should be on it. He should get on here.
True.
We should get Kyle here.
Yeah, make a note.
But super thrilled for this. Super thrilled for this episode and all the exciting news we have.
Bandwagon.
Yeah, this is sweet.
Well, guys, let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
The routine news.
Let's go, Brain Dead. What up?
Oh, let's go! Not from the back. The special
They're getting
sizing
decked out
from
in
the
their
back.
Brain Dead gear. Cool.
Yeah, you guys should cop this stuff. Anyway, yeah. What are we talking about?
The news.
The news. Let's go.
Well, guys, while I'm here as a representative of the Drug Receipts community, I do want to remind everyone that Drug Receipts, we're so grateful to have so many wonderful people in our community, both, legendary rollerbladers in our chats that you guys can hang out and chat with, but also so many creative professionals, so many people that champion the idea of individuality, art, philosophy, and we've really created a really, really unique and special environment here at Drug Receipts to where I can't really think of another, community where it's this little sliver and safe haven to kind of really be yourself. So Snugglers, this goes out to you. Thank you so much for making the community what it is. So
yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that. Moving on though, Discord, we got some new emojis. Shout out to Acrothetics. This might be labeled the Acrothetics episode, but we have some Senate emojis in the chat, some Ghost Brand emojis, some new Drug Receipts emojis in the chat.
So cool.
So if you guys, so if you guys are in there right now, be sure to test them out. Drop a emoji in the chat. Let us know that you are listening and active and stoked about the emojis because I am.
What happened to Acrothetics? I mean, what was it that kicked them into gear? Like all this, I mean, obviously they've been in the community for a long time and active, but like in the last week, there's been or the last couple of weeks, there's been such a surge of activity and production. It's been really cool, but I'm just wondering what we did to deserve it, or what's inspired Acrothetics.
Well, I think that there's just been a lot of excitement in the community, now that we're gearing towards drug wars, which we will get into. People's creative, wheels are turning now, which is really, really exciting because that is what Drug Receipts is built on, is community and art. And those two elements are going to be crucial in drug wars, and they're going to be crucial strategies on the battlefield. Alpha. So yeah, we're really lucky again to have such an incredible community of people that are artists and themselves, and can have a platform where they can shine and show us their skills and be a part of the community and build it.
No doubt.
For sure. But no, and speaking of acrothetics, if you guys are familiar, so we are beginning in the beginning stages of Drug Wars, and to celebrate that, we did a contest last week, courtesy of Brooke Howard Smith, where we did a naming contest where you could, name your hypothetical or real 4-set drug receipts drug war team, and acrothetics, along with Andy 05880641 also won the competition as well.
Catchy name.
Shout out to you guys, of course. But Arlo, dude, guys, we got the. I don't want to blow up the spot, but we have some serious drug war militia in our midst. But I'm not going to say much. So let's talk about drug wars.
Yeah, because war is coming, right? This is something that everybody's talking about. A lot of moves have been happening, and honestly, we always talk about how rad the community is and kind of the collaborative nature of the project, where the creators on our side are working with the community contributors on the other side. And in this project in particular, there has been some real cross collaboration between all parties. Because the real thrust of Drug Wars is going to happen once we get the drugstore up. So there's some development happening on our end to get all of the official Drug Wars mechanics into place. But in the meantime, that gap, that void has really been filled by the community, and with some help from us, right? We put templates out there, but mostly what's happening is happening in the Discord, happening in the community. And what this is all about, right, is for anyone who is not totally clued in on what Drug Wars is, we have a collection of 10,000 NFTs. The collection is based on art. And so we've got 4 main characters that are all based kind of like on pharmaceutical drugs. So we've got Cap, who's a capsule, Tabby, who's a tablet, Siren, who's a syringe, and Rex, who's an RX prescription bottle. But the way that the collection is put together, it just so happens that it's really easy to put NFTs together and start to notice patterns, put traits together that match, put colors together that match, put themes together to match. It's just an immensely collectible release. And organically, people have started sort of finding that once you start putting them together, that you get these really cool combinations. And because there's 4 main characters, it just sort of naturally has evolved that 4 is kind of the magic number. You put together sets of 4. I think the original concept was you get 1 of each character, but really it's evolved far beyond that, where you could have 4 of the same background color. You could have 4 of the same trait, 4 knives. You could have 4 of the same theme, it could be all kind of like cops and robbers or something. There's no limit to the kind of the creative output or the creative direction you can take with it. But what it all adds up to is the gamification of collecting, or really a more formalized, purposeful collecting. And the name for that is Drug Wars, because what we're going to do is take this thing that has sprung up organically, and we're going to turn it into a way to profit from it, right? You can win NFTs. You can certainly win clout. But as this thing gets built out, there will be ways to earn, custom exclusive frames, for instance, that will be necessary for building out your collections. Maybe you'll get special badges. So it opens up a whole new world of possibilities and a whole new world of value that gets layered on top of the original collection. So Joellen, let's bring up the first image here in Drug Wars. This is one that Brooke Howard Smith put together on the template that we put out. So here you can see the idea, right? So you take 4 different NFTs. Brooke happens to own all of these, and he has a really well put together collection here, really distinctive theme. You can see that they're all corpse paint tabbies, all on the blue background. I mean, that is a super sick collection, well curated. And Jesse just talked about the naming convention. So something that Brooke has really been pushing for, and something that is a no-brainer as far as just being a great idea, is letting people name their collections, because it just begs for it. Because there's so many different themes, there's so many different clever ideas here that you could work off of. So being able to name these things just adds a whole new layer of fun and cleverness to the crew building, to the set building. So Jesse talked about how cool, or we've been talking a lot about acrothetics, for instance, right? Acrothetics has great Photoshop skills, has been putting together a lot of cool visual assets for the community, but we have a lot of community members with a lot of skills. And so it's not just visual artists that have a lot to offer the community. We got one of our members, Evil Una, hopefully I'm saying that right, Evil OONA, took it upon themselves to build out, to code a program so that people can put together their own crews. Joel, if we can bring up the next slide, let's take a look at this little interface that was put together. And so this is available online right now. You can find the link in our Discord. Boy, if I prepared my notes better, I would give you the link right now, but I don't know it off of hand. Maybe someone will give it to me in the chat. But so you go in there and it's real simple.
Discord. So.
Yeah, you can go look for it in the Discord. And if you're not in the Discord, maybe we can get something up here into the YouTube chat also, so you can see it there. But what's cool about this one is, whereas the drug receipts interface ultimately is going to be, Web3 enabled, so that you will link your wallet and you'll actually be building out collections based on your own holdings. This one, you can use any NFT in the 10K release. So it's a really aspirational, inspirational way to build out sets. And, maybe you have 3 or 2 to a collection and you're kind of trying to figure out which one you want to target next. This is a great way to plug them in and just see how they look together. And just in terms of, just because it's so much fun to try and visualize and think about the coolest ways to curate a set, but you're not, we don't all have the ability to just drop, infinite amounts of ETH every time we want to build a new set. So this is a really cool way just to get in there and to do it and just start messing around with it. And you'll notice that they've added to the user interface here. The first 4 rows are different NFTs, right? You put in the NFT number from OpenSea and you can add it to your collection. But then the last one is where you name it. And so that's where we've added this whole other element where things have started to get really fun. Jesse mentioned the contest that we held just recently, but there were a lot of good entries. And in the Discord, there's, now that people have access to a template, people have access to code in order to build out their battle cards or their grids. We love naming stuff around here. So I know with the community's help, we're really going to nail what all the final names for these things will be. But, when putting together your crew, Joel, let's go ahead and look at some of these because they're so fun. Right. So one of the characters is Cap. This entire collection is made up of Cap. It's a crew of Caps. So it's all Caps. I mean, that's fun, right? Winner. Good job. Let's look at the next one, because there's so many different ways to put them together. Here is someone who's put them all together by character. That's Cap. Also by trait. They're all on bombs. Also by background. Purple. That is a very well curated set right there. That's tough. And that's one of the things that Jesse was talking about. It makes a difference, your attention to detail, because there are going to be so many cool entries that it really is going to come down to who has put together the most thoughtful, most mind-blowing collection. And this is a really, really strong contender. Bomb Squad. Love the name. Let's look at another one. Same idea here, right? Similar idea. So we've got traits. They're all riding bombs. They're not all Cap, but they are all rainbow. So you can start to see, right, how what's that?
Fluff hats. They all have fluff hats.
Oh, and they all have fluff hats. I didn't even notice that. And so that's another way that the names help, right? So this one says Clone Wars. I think there's another one that we will look at, but that actually explicitly calls out the fluff connection. But so the name almost like it trains your mind's eye, like what you're looking for, or it helps to kind of bring it all together, what the collection's about. Very cool.
Build out this kind of, you can really build out like almost like a lore behind your team, and you can get really creative, and you can, start storytelling within your collection. Just because we have Drug Receipts has so many traits. We are a 10K collection, but I think our possibilities of trait combinations was somewhere like in like the 900 millions of different varieties. So
way more than that.
Yeah, something really, really ridiculous. It was an insane number. Yeah. And yeah, so like the possibilities are really endless to be creative, but not only that, but it really allows the community to form smaller communities and groups within each other, because for the drug wars, where it's going to be a community vote on who gets to proceed to the next level. So if you have a great story, you have a great aesthetic, you have a great name, then it's easy for you to kind of start marketing your team within the community. And so it creates like these some tinier ecosystems within the ecosystem. So it's very, very exciting.
It is. And Sean in the chat says, it's much harder when you actually own them. And it's true, but it's so, one thing that starts happening when it sort of changes the way your brain thinks about your drug receipts, and you start noticing patterns within your own collection. You're like, oh man, those two go together pretty well. If I could just get, another one that has these traits, it would make them together in like a perfect set. And so it adds a whole new, interesting, creative wrinkle to it. Is John Julio still with us? I just want to point out something, because there's four NFTs here, and one of them is riding a bomb and wearing a skate, right? John, are you here? Let me see if he's still here, Joellen.
Another John.
Yeah. Still here. Over here. We're listening.
Okay, cool. So Joellen, you can go ahead and bring that one back up. I just want to make sure that he's listening. I got my eye on you, Julio. I'm watching you. But so this is one of the cool things about the collection, because today has been very rollerblading focused. We've got Ortiz and Roadhouse and Julio are there. We're talking about Blading Cup. But it is not Drug Receipts is not a rollerblading brand. It is definitely rollerblading affiliated. We are all rollerbladers. I am a rollerblader. So rollerblading is definitely a part of the brand. But it is possible for someone to put a collection together that's based on rollerblading. But it's also possible to put together an infinite number of other collections that have nothing to do with rollerblading. And one of the beauties of Drug Receipts, at least from my money and from a rollerblading perspective, is that rollerblading is just part of the collection. It's not obtrusive. It's not in your face. It's not shouting out, "Hey, look at me, I'm rollerblading," or "This is a rollerblading brand." It's just another attribute in there, just like any other attribute. It's just a part of the cool collection of things that we put in there. And in that way, I think that, it's the reason I'm calling you out, John, or I wanted you to see it, is I feel like so much of what you do is really similar in spirit, where it's not, it's not about shouting how cool rollerblading is. It's just about letting rollerblading be there and just letting people, discover it and find their own value in it on their own terms. So, yeah. So, okay. Thanks for that. Joellen, let's look at another one. The Kaboom Squad. And you know what? So it's funny. It's almost like a game. Like you look at them for a second and try to figure out, okay, what's the theme here? And then I scanned right down to the name, because I knew it would reveal it right away. And so how cool is that with the robber mask right there in the name Kaboom?
Hey, Arlo,
and I saw in the comments.
Can you say it like that again? Can you say it again?
The Kaboom Squad. John, that might bring back memories for you. Because you're from Northern California, wasn't the Bomb Squad like Pat Lennon and Shima from
Yeah.
Where they're from?
I don't know
Redwood.
if I don't think they used the Kaboom Squad, but yeah.
They were the Bomb Squad.
Drug Receipts, children's books, narrated by Arlo. When?
Right.
The Kaboom Squad. Okay, cool. Very cool. But I saw in the Discord that this collection was rightfully called out for being close, but not quite being finished, because it really needs 4 robber masks, right? But just like so many people have said in the comments, easier said than done if you're actually trying to collect them. Let's see the next one, Joellen. Feeling the fluff. So here's one, right? So this is, Jesse pointed out that one of the previous collections all had fluff hats. Here again, we see all fluff hats. So just so many different ways you can put together a collection. What's next?
So people are putting these together.
Yeah, they own them.
Ladies and a Tramp. And here's how you can write just another demonstration of how much fun you can have with the names, and also like how you can really put the point on, or put the bow on your collection. So here we've got 3 tabbies. She's our female presenting character, and 1 Rex. So, whereas without a name, you might struggle to find, a clear definition or clear direction for the theme. But once you see Ladies and a Tramp, well, now it's kind of paid off. It brings it all together. Very cool. What's next? John Julio's trying to get out of here. Pointy Posse, clever, pointy ears, pointy horns. Keep going. I forgot how many I put in here. I just thought they were all so cool. Rowdy Rex, they're all our Rex character. And again, so the collection can be as broad or as narrow as you want. This one is as simple as having all the same character, right? And there are some of them that really drill in on a specific trait. So very cool. Rowdy Rex. Search and Rescue. Did this one win the name? Yes, he did it. Did this win the
I don't think that won.
I hope that won, because not only does that look effing great, that is so snug and cool with the dark gray backgrounds, and the Rexes all look perfect on it, and it's got the special gray skate, and there's like perfect color coordination, and it's got a great name. If this was the real thing, I mean, that is a winning crew right there. That's a winning set. That's a winning battle card. I love it. Nice job,
Arlo. Sorry to interrupt, but this is a very urgent matter. There's somebody in the Discord that is begging you to say she's totally tabulous. Can you say that for them?
Like if I'm reading the children's books?
Yes, please.
Totally tabulous.
There you go, Sean. You're welcome.
She is totally tabulous. There is no doubt about it. That's my tabby. Shady Shades, all wearing the sunglasses. What else? I love them. I love them all. I'm just trying to power through them so that we can get John to sign off. Great coordination here. All tabbies, beautiful color coordination. They're all smoking. It's the Smokers Lounge. Sick curating right there. Does anybody know what this name means? The Deserters?
No.
Julio?
The background color looks like desert. I don't know.
Exactly. That background color. Exactly. That background is actually called desert. The Deserters, they're all in the desert background. And it does have sort of a slight crossover to the Fluff world, because they have the desert crew, which is a desert background. So, but yeah, the Deserters, that's really cool. That's clever naming right there, and clever curating. Is that it? That's it. John? So what do you think about all that? Wait, now how crazy are NFTs?
Those are all contributors. Those are all people submitted those, right?
Yeah. So some people owned 4 of them. A lot of those people, I think, are just putting together NFTs, that they're getting off of OpenSea that they don't own. They're just sort of matching them up. But you can do it either way.
And
but those are all from the collection.
The awards is the people are going to vote on what their favorites is. That that's how it's going to go.
Yeah,
cool.
it's going to be like bracketed competition. You'll be heads up against someone else, and then you'll advance to the next round, and then the winner will get
NCAA.
prizes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
NIS, like NIS back in the day.
Like this.
Yeah, but for the
Yeah.
for the actual contest, it will only be verified collections, right? It'll be you have to have all of the ones that you're representing
And you have to at least have 4, of course. So.
to make a collection. To make a set.
Cool. When is the first? It already happened, or are you gonna have announcing it?
No, this is all the buildup. What you're seeing is like the first movements, kind of the first tremors. Yeah,
Cool.
But the war
You guys
is
had, like,
coming
a test run, right? Like, didn't 2 people win something? Like,
for the naming contest, right?
oh, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But not we haven't actually had the crews going head to head yet. This is a battle my crew of NFTs.
Sick.
You got served of NFTs.
So, John, thank you so much for being on and spending this time with us, talking about rollerblading, talking about NFTs. We're so excited about the things to come. Already, we're working on really cool things. Can't wait to share the rest of what we have going on with the rest of the community, and really looking forward to some in real life interaction out there at Blading Cup. Thanks for all you do. So happy to be able to support. Yeah.
Sponsoring and yeah, it's amazing to get that support from you guys. And I'll get a wallet after we get
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
I got. What was that?
Whoa, yeah.
Crazy.
Cool.
Wow. Thank you,
Surprise.
guys. That was good.
Damn.
Thank you for.
That was
How
awesome.
sick was that?
Very cool. This whole production is crazy.
Yeah. Well, top notch production right here, right?
Yeah. Pretty cool.
No, I've been giving everyone a hard time. We've been teasing them. We've had some issues with the title cards, but it is really the team is
really
great. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. It's really cool. So thank you for acknowledging that or recognizing it, because we put in a lot of hard work. So
You can tell, yeah. Is this your first one doing this? I missed.
it feels like it, right? It looks like it, but no, this is episode number 8.
8, okay. I mean, it looks amazing, so I mean, it's cool.
So just to let you know,
I'll get back on when you announce the winners. Like I'd like to come back on and help announce it.
we will definitely take you up on that. We'll bring you back on to announce the winners. Yeah, that would be really cool. And for our last segment, we're gonna talk about some skeptic talk. It's one of the pillars, along with rollerblading and art. We've talked with Tyler about art and subversion. We've talked with John about skating, community. Now we're going to do some skepticism and science, which has been neglected the last couple of weeks, but it's really an important part of the project. So we're going to make some time for it. John, I know you've got to go. We don't expect you to hang around. Obviously, you're always welcome to, but just as a heads up, we're about to move into the skeptic and science portion of our programming.
Right here?
Sweet.
All right.
Perfect transition. All right. Now it's just me. Oh, man. I've gotten so used to having everybody here for the entire episode. It's been a really communal Drug Receipts, Stop Questioning Everything episode. But we really do want to focus in and stop it down to talk a little bit about science and skepticism, because it has been neglected the past few episodes, and it's really critical to the project and to our goals. What we're doing with the Blading Cup, what we're doing with the galleries, Drug Receipts brings a lot of in real life utility to NFTs and to the project, to our project. And it is sort of unique in that area, especially in the fluff ecosystem, where there is, so much great metaverse utility and Web3 utility, and we will have all of that as well. But a really unique area, or a really unique corner that we're able to fit in, is some of the IRL utility that we bring. We've talked about art, in real life art experiences with the gallery. We've talked about in real life community experiences with our after parties and with blading, with the Blading Cup. But another in real life utility that we bring is changing human minds, providing mind altering substance. And our goal here really is nothing short of altering your mind, altering minds. Because once we go into the metaverse, and the metaverse is coming, right? Where you can go there already, but we're going to have our 3D rigged avatars. We're going to be meeting in virtual spaces. But for all of the technological innovation, unless we are also upgrading our minds, we will always be limited and constrained by our own shortcomings. And it just so happens, through the miracle of evolution, that our brains just have a whole lot of ways of undermining us and misguiding us. And so through science, and through, in particular, the tools of scientific skepticism, we're able to be aware of the shortcomings in our own minds and confront them. And if we put the work into it, if we're willing to put the work into it, to change them. So that's why we make the time to devote to scientific skepticism. We have a channel in our Drug Receipts server that is devoted to skepticism. It's our skepticism channel. And many of you have already found your way in there. You ask questions. It's a safe, welcoming place. Dia is our skeptic moderator. She is our minister of skepticism. And there's always great and interesting content going on in there. And with this forum, we would like to support some of the skeptical content that we're providing. So to that end, I would like to talk about some of the conversations that have come up in the Skeptic channel recently, and perhaps elaborate on them a bit. But there was some talk recently about the scientific method, because we talk a lot about the processes of science. The scientific method, skepticism is the application of scientific principles to all areas of inquiry. But what is the scientific method? And we had a member in our Discord who said, no peer review equals no scientific process equals not science. In essence, saying if there's no peer review, then there hasn't been a scientific process. So anything that happens without peer review is not science. Which I think, although kind of headed in the right place, or I think guided by a good instinct, is not exactly right. And Dia did a good job of addressing it, and I think clearing it up a little bit. She said, it seems reasonable to define science as investigation that adheres to the scientific method. So any person who investigates any phenomenon for the first time using the scientific method would reasonably be said to be conducting science. She said, peer review is, of course, an important component of the scientific method, but the lack of it in any single scientific investigation does not negate the validity of the science conducted. And she gave some examples. So, else we would say that Einstein, Curie, or Pauling were conducting science until their work was peer reviewed, right? So you can be engaged in and conducting a perfectly worthwhile scientific endeavor, and it doesn't cease to be or wait to be science until it's reviewed. You are engaged in science. So Dia was right to point out the difference between the scientific method and peer review. Peer review, probably more accurately, could be described as a kind of accounting or an audit of the science being conducted. It's a way of ensuring scientific integrity. It exists kind of outside of the scientific method, but as Dia said, it is a part of the scientific process in terms of doing the best, following the best practices. And I'm just sort of echoing something that Dia already said in the Discord. She said that in the broader sense, peer review is an absolutely vital component to reaching good scientific conclusions, right? So it is an important part of the entire scientific process. But the method itself, the scientific method, refers to the empirical method of acquiring knowledge, right? And empiricism, or the empirical method, are the sort of the modern scientific enterprise, which began in the 17th century, is really just means it's based on observation, right? Things that we can sense, things that we can see, or things that we can measure or test. Basically, anything that can be measured or observed can be tested. Anything that falls outside of that purview is not really science. If it can't be tested, if it can't be seen, if it can't be observed, if it can't be identified in any way other than intuition or feeling or belief, then it's not really science. Doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile or meaningful in any way. It just means that it falls outside of the purview of science. Science encompasses that which can be known through observation or experimentation. But there are methods, right? The scientific method includes some familiar milestones, some familiar steps along the way. It always begins with observation. It involves some sort of speculation or thoughtful consideration of what's being observed, some guesses about what might be happening. It involves formulating hypotheses, testing hypotheses through experimentation. But the reason that I'm describing these, each of these steps kind of in broad, vague terms is just to kind of illustrate and drive home the point that when we talk about scientific method, there is no specific diagram. There are actually hundreds of them. You can look up scientific method and you'll see a whole lot of diagrams explaining kind of the method. But understand that it is sort of a general guiding principle, but that changes or that can, will be adapted to different areas of study, different fields of inquiry. So it is mostly a guiding principle built on some general milestones or stepping stones, but that there is no exact scientific method per se. And the process never ends. You don't get to the end of the process or to the end of the scientific method. You don't go through the observation and speculation and hypothesizing and then testing and experimenting. And at the end, you're like, we did it. We solved it. We're done. All ideas in science are open to constant revision and consideration. So we do achieve ever increasing levels of confidence to where, some things are, they, for all intents and purposes, they are fact, but the details can change and our confidence can always grow. So I'm setting all this up to say that there are some real actionable items that we can talk about, that we can talk about, what is science? What are the limits of science? And what would be some good examples, or what are some good examples of good scientific or experimental methodology? We had a conversation in one of our previous podcasts about cupping. It came up spontaneously, and we had, I think, a pretty silly conversation about it. But I'm going to bring it up here again because I think it provides a good opportunity to talk about some of the best practices underlying good scientific and experimental methodology. Go ahead and bring up the first image here, Joellen, of Michael Phelps. Because, in the Olympics and nowadays in pretty much any sporting event, you will see a lot of this. You can see the telltale signs of cupping. those circle bruises on the back and shoulder of Michael Phelps. And we're seeing more and more of this. And if you'll bring up the next slide, you can see how kind of the process by which those bruises get there. So they use these cups, which can be, here they're glass cups, but they can be made of any different materials or a number of different materials. But, use a flame or something to take out the oxygen and then to suck the skin and fluid up into the jar. And then they leave the jars on the skin for, something like up to 3 minutes. And then when they take the jars off, because it's caused the blood to rush up into the jar, they get the bruising beneath the surface of the skin, and it leaves those telltale circles. And this is the next part I'm going to say is kind of gross, so fair warning, but there are two different kinds of cupping. There's dry cupping, which is what we're looking at here, where you just get the bruises, but they also have what's called wet cupping, where they make small incisions so that fluid is actually extracted from the skin when it's pulled up into the jars. And I think there's two ways of doing it. Either they can do a small incision before so that the fluid is drawn up into the jar. It doesn't fill up the jar or anything, but so the fluid is drawn out of the skin while it's in the jar. And I think there might be another way where maybe they do the incision afterwards to release some of the blood that's gathered around the cupping. But so I will tell you a little bit about what cupping is alleged to do. It's supposed to promote healing, and in particular, it's used for sore muscles, which is why you see it on so many athletes. But it's also claimed to help with skin diseases like acne. It's been said to perhaps lower cholesterol, helps with migraines, knee arthritis, improving immune function. So one thing that you'll notice about pretty much all of those claims is that these are all conditions that are pretty susceptible to influence. That is to say, it's not like a broken leg. You can't just, put someone in a room and light some candles and make their broken leg feel better or be healed. The leg will still be broken. But things like migraine or a chronic pain like knee pain or lower back pain, pains that tend to come and go, those tend to be fairly receptive to influence and to kind of the theater of treatment. Things like, cupping really would fall into the same category as things like acupuncture, probably even light massage to some extent, just where you get human interaction, you have the performance of treatment, and then I guess really what we're starting to describe here is the placebo effect, right? Then the brain does its work and you believe or you feel better. And it's not believe me, I don't want to discount that. If anything that gives you relief, if you are in pain, and even if it's just a placebo result that you're still getting a result. So there's something to be said for that. But what happens is then people start to graft on to cupping or chiropractic or acupuncture a whole lot of lore that really is not, for which there's no scientific basis, and it leads to over promising or making claims that go far beyond what's actually possible through the techniques. So now I want to talk about the science and how you actually can learn how to distinguish between placebo and something that actually has a significant effect beyond placebo. And the reason that's significant is because placebo will only work on a certain percentage of people, and something that is tested and evidence-based, you would expect a much higher rate of efficacy. So, and also it's important to know if things are dangerous or not. And so, although we said that wet cupping is kind of gross, for the most part, to the best of our knowledge, cupping is not dangerous. So there's no harm in doing it really, other than the gateway into believing absurd things, which, as we've seen, can lead to some really dire consequences. Just look at the current political climate, look at people's reaction to perfectly safe and effective vaccines. It's just once you start leading people down the path where it's okay to believe things without evidence, or it's okay to believe things just because you want to believe them or because the idea sounds appealing, Once you separate or decouple an idea or a treatment from the actual science, then people can start ending up in really dangerous places. Before, I think the last 8 years or so, people probably would have thought that, skepticism and worrying about people who believe in UFOs without evidence or who look for Bigfoot, any of those things, that why, what's the big deal? Let people have their fun. Let them believe what they want to believe. But I think that we've really seen the dire consequences of decoupling evidence from our beliefs. And again, this is different than things that fall outside of the purview of science. There are things that we can only know through faith or belief. And it's up to each one of us to decide, how meaningful or how important that is to each one of us. Science has no opinion on that. But once you start making claims about things for which it's very easy to come up with tests to determine what the facts are or what the truth is, then yes, it's reasonable to expect that there should be some evidence to support your claims. So how would you test cupping? When we first started talking about this in one of the recent podcasts, I had done, I sort of recalled that I'd done some low-level searching into cupping and found that there wasn't much evidence to support it. But that was years ago. And so I wasn't sure if there was new data out there, if there have been new or more tests since my first little look into it. And I assumed that there would be, because it has achieved such prominence, like in the highest corridors of sport, with the top athletes in all the major sports are using it. You can see it everywhere. We saw it all. You can see it in the Olympics. You can see it in the major sporting franchises. But to my surprise, when I looked it up again after our last conversation, there wasn't much new data. There wasn't much new information. There hadn't been any more tests, really. The tests, as they say, are inconclusive. But when you start to get into why that is, it reveals some great insight into how you build good experiments, or the way that experiments are conducted. So one problem with experimenting on cupping, or designing good experiments for cupping, is that there's no good way to set up a control for it. So control just means when in any good experimental design, if you want to know if something works, you have to test it on, you would have a group of people that you are testing the cupping on, but you would also have to have another group of people that are receiving essentially the exact same treatment, but without whatever the mechanism is that's alleged to be, whatever we think is the alleged mechanism behind cupping. And so then between the two groups, you see what the results are between the two groups, and you compare them, and you can see if there's any statistical difference between using the cupping or not. And an example of this would be acupuncture. So there actually are a lot of good tests on acupuncture, because you can devise, and they have devised, sham needles. It's possible to make a needle that basically retracts into itself, so that to the person receiving the acupuncture treatment, they would never know if they'd actually been penetrated by a needle, or if it was a sham needle that was just placed outside of their skin, superficially outside of their skin. And so in that way, they've been able to conduct a lot of good tests on acupuncture, where they have two groups. They have the people that are receiving the acupuncture treatment with the piercing needles exactly as prescribed by the practitioner, but then they have another group that receives a sham treatment that is almost exactly the same. The person receiving the treatment doesn't know the difference, but they are not actually being penetrated by the needles. And this is important for a couple of reasons. This is a good opportunity to introduce the idea of a blinded experiment. Do you guys know what it means to have a blinded experiment, or to incorporate blinding into an experiment? So it's important, if you're going to have a control group, if you're going to compare two groups of people, the people receiving the acupuncture and the people receiving the sham treatment, it's important that neither group knows which group they're in. They can't know if they're getting the actual or the the sham treatment, because that will affect their experience. It will affect the way that they process the experience. And you don't want to unnecessarily bias your groups. So you don't tell either of the groups which treatment they're receiving. And you should start to be able to see the problem here with cupping, because it's not easy to come up with a way to provide a control group or to come up with a sham way to give someone a cupping therapy. But that's just one way to blind it, right? Where you blind it so that the person receiving the treatment doesn't know what they're getting. But the best scientific experiments, the best experimental protocol incorporates double blinding. You've probably heard that used before, a double-blinded experiment. All the best medical tests, all the best scientific experimental protocols incorporate double-blinded experimentation. And so we've already identified one way to blind, right? You blind the recipient so they don't know what they're getting. But the other way to blind it is you also want to blind the experimenter, the one conducting the experiment, the person conducting the treatment, or the person evaluating the data, because they are also capable of introducing their own biases into the experiment. In that way, honestly, the sham needles and the actual acupuncture treatment, probably not really possible to double blind that one, because the people doing the sham treatment would actually know that they were doing a sham treatment. So in that way, it's probably not 100%. It's not the most elegant experimental design. But in other experiments, including most medical experiments, the people administering the medicine wouldn't know which one they were giving. And they wouldn't need to know, right? If you're giving someone a pill, if you're giving someone a shot, if you're giving someone something to take orally, you don't have to know if what you're giving them is placebo or actually has the active ingredient in it. And so in that way, if the doctor or the person administering the medication doesn't know what they're giving, then there's no way they can subconsciously or imperceptibly I don't know, influence the experiment. And this is so much of what skepticism is, right? Is being aware of human biases, being aware of the way the very clever and unknown ways that it can manipulate and influence events. And so through science, we are constantly trying to find ways to mitigate those influences and those biases. And blinding and double blinding is a way that we do it in experimentation. And this is why there is so little data on cupping, because it's really hard to design a very good experimental protocol where you can have a good control group in cupping. The fact is, the only way to do cupping is to suck people's skin up into a jar. And I don't think people have come up with a very good way of faking that. And hence, the data is inconclusive. As a general rule, you can probably guess that cupping's about as effective as acupuncture, and probably works in a lot the same ways, but it's hard to verify. So if anyone out there can come up with a solution for how do you come up with a good control group, what is a good sham cupping technique or treatment, then I think we could probably run a really interesting experiment. But in the meantime, I think what we could do is, another thing that's come up in the skepticism channel is that we should do a group project, right? We should come up with a subject, just like here I've talked a little bit about cupping, but we should pick a project and then kind of approach it skeptically together in the skepticism channel. And, we can all do research. We can look for articles. We can, with your skeptic moderators, we can talk about the tools and the techniques that we're using. We can comment on, each other's findings. It would be a really great skeptical exercise. And so I'm going to go ahead and put the challenge out there, and Dia will help us moderate this in the skepticism channel. But let's start pitching ideas for a good candidate to take on collectively the drug snugglers in the skepticism channel, and we will work on it. And I think what we should work on is over the next week coming up with candidates. On the next Q&A next Thursday, we can announce one. We'll actually pick one. And then on the following podcast, so 2 weeks from today, we can have basically a wrap up, a debrief. We can let people know what the results were of our skeptical investigation. And I think it'll be really cool. It'll be really fun, and it will be hands-on. The best way to learn anything is by doing it. And so it'll be a really great way for all of us to kind of start to get our brains wrapped around skepticism and introduced to the actual tools of skepticism. And, you know, when we're thinking about candidates for what would be a good topic to take on, just remember, you know, we're not looking for the third rail topics, right? We're not trying to turn anyone off by, you know, picking a topic that might be on the wrong side of whatever their politic or religious leanings are. There are plenty of topics like cupping, right, that are perfectly ripe for skeptical investigation, but that no one, I think, will be too strongly invested in. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I look forward to seeing what candidates you guys come up with in the skeptical in our skepticism channel on Discord. If you're not following us in Discord yet, by the way, please make sure that you get in there, because, you know, we have these long form conversations once a week, but there is nonstop conversation where we can get into more detail, where there's more interaction, where it's not just listening to us on this side of the camera, but where it's interactive and we are all talking together. So definitely join us in the Drug Receipts Discord. Also follow us on all of our socials if you don't already. It's at Drug Receipts wherever your social platforms are. At Drug Receipts on Twitter, at Drug Receipts on Instagram. You can find Drug Receipts, our Drug Receipts channel on YouTube. I've gone through this whole thing without asking any questions, so I will open it up. We've covered a lot of content tonight. Meds, do we have any questions from Discord or from the YouTube chat? And for those of you chatting, do you have any questions that you'd like to put up? I will give an opportunity for questions before we wrap things up here. Oh, thanks for that, Joellen. I almost forgot. We do bring the title cards. That's good, Don. He has questions in all caps. What were you doing for the last 2 hours? I'm sure you were collecting the best questions of the bunch. We're looking at the chat live, so I know we've been kind of taking them in real time as they've come in. What are these cool things that are being posted in there? RexQ and Respect. Cool. Well, guys, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm not gonna force you all to sit here while I wait for a question to come in. I think we've had a lot of good conversation this evening. I'm just going to scroll through here real quick and make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, holy shit. Sax Siren is just chilling in the background. Yeah, if you guys didn't see it, you see Siren back here? Sat Commander made this, or had it made. How sick is that? How cool is that? How cool is this community, and how cool is like the IRL stuff that's coming out of it? Tyler's got those prints now. We've got this cutout. Look at how thick and sturdy this thing is. It's so cool. We've got Acrothetics making, you know, digital assets out his wazoo. So cool. So excited about this community, guys. I mean, obviously, I'm already excited about Drug Receipts. I love it. I love creating this stuff. But seeing what you guys are doing with it, seeing the way that this thing is like, it's just taking on a life of its own, and seeing all the different interpretations and takes on Drug Receipts and how you are all engaged with it. It just makes it so fun to be a part of this community. It makes it so cool to be a snuggler, just to be sharing with all you drug snugglers and just seeing how much you add to the enterprise. This is why we're here. And literally every day, every minute, every time I log on to Discord, there's something new. I'm seeing what Acrothetics is posting now, and I can't wait till we wrap up here so I can get in there and start taking a look at it. But yeah, guys, love you all. I snugged the snug out of you. This has been a fun one. Thanks to John, Julio, Randy, Jon Ortiz for coming in. Thanks to Tyler for being in here. Thanks to Jesse for the news. Thanks to Joellen, Dawn, all of our meds, our pharmacists, our stimulants. Thanks to all of you guys who keep this community running. Looking forward to all of our upcoming events. Stay in touch on our Discord and on our socials for all the latest updates. This has been another episode of Stop Questioning Everything, the official Drug Receipts podcast. We'll snug you later. Bye, guys.